kindly, Your Excellency the Governor. I am not worthy to be introduced by the Governor, and I don't feel the shoe to speak after you. But I thank you for allowing me to. This is a breaking of protocol, but because of your kindness and your magnanimity, you have allowed me to do so. This is clear sign that you have no problem with the other government rising. If this was in another county, in an undisclosed location in Kenya, I would not only be refused to speak after you, but I would be thrown out, only shoes would be left. I thank you, Governor Kinuthia, and I'm very much from the heart appreciative of your person and of your work. MC, for the respect of the government of the youth, how long should I speak? I'll keep that time. It is now 5 minutes past 4.
As much as you want.
No, I don't have much time, my brother. As much as I want would mean that we keep speaking until tomorrow morning. Are you ready to sleep? Sleep where you're sitting?
Yes.
All right, give me time. Okay, I'll keep my time. I think that's a good answer from a professor of law. Thank you very much. I appreciate it a lot. Before I can say a word, are you able to give the DCC a microphone to greet the people and say his name, one word, and then I continue speaking, because he is the person who look after the national government affairs when we are here, as much as the county belongs to the governor.
Thank you, Bwana CEC.
CEC.
CSC.
CAS. I know you are sitting with CEC, so...
CAS, thank you very much. Good afternoon. Now, my name is Joel Mongalo, County Commissioner of Wayne Sub-County. As the CS has said, after this, we'll have some other business pertaining to school preparedness as we gear towards opening our schools after the closure. So thank you very much. I have with me officers from the Education Office, County, and also security officers to take care of the CAS. Asanteni sana.
Thank you very much. This is Yen Makofi. This is a man in charge of police. So if you have a problem, you know the solution. Are we together? And in the spirit of unity, county government, both the tiers of government are working very closely, because they're the one coordinating the national government agenda and all the programs. As you know, through the executive order of Mr. President, these work are now being coordinated by the structure which used to be called provincial administration. But now they are called National Government Administration Officers, NGAO. We thank you for the work you're continuing to do, Bwana Commissioner, and in collaboration with the Governor. I know also the Governor has a very functional structure that delivers on his promises to the people. And this county has become the county of benchmarking for the people, except that by benchmarking in Makueni, you don't get enough per diem. You better go to Dubai and see how Bluebird is made. Or go to Brazil to see how spaghetti is produced, which is absolute nonsense. Amongst us, we have functional units, we have experts, and we have people who have intentions for the people, yet we stone our own heroes. Because when the story of the hunter is written by the hunter, the hunted is the villain. I want to thank the leadership of Musa, that is Makueni University Student Association. I salute you guys, because this is uncommon in other counties, including where I am born and bred. The unity to bring together these graduates, these elites, because never lose it, you are an elite, because you have a rare gem that your siblings could never achieve, called education. President Kenyatta, in his Facing Mount Kenya book, writes that I had to walk from Ishaweri to go to Kamboi Mission, because I heard from there the white man and his poison was doing magic. And I wanted to learn the magic because I had heard it was a miracle. So I walked and ferried my younger brother, who was number 1, the Alliance Boys registration 001, his brother, you know. And the magic was how to write and how to read. It was a miracle. People wait for miracles akin to those of Jesus of Nazareth. But in our day, miracles also happen. And we continue to experience miracles through revolutions. But we don't see them because we are enslaved by foreign dollars. To know how to write and to read is itself a miracle. Yet, we continue to treat it for granted. If you know how important it is to read, consult your grandmother who never went to school and see that they have to use their thumbprint to occasion a transaction in a bank. They don't know how to hold a pen, otherwise they would be holding it like a fork. This is a miracle for you young people. It's a miracle for us that we can speak 3 different languages. The Gikamba, actually it's 3 years, Gikamba, Kiswahili, and English. The white man can only speak 1, and that is English. Yet, we don't take it as if it's a great thing to happen to us. Today, Governor will correct me, from 1963 to 2011, it is most likely this county never received more than 10 billion shillings in terms of investment. From 2011 through transition authority all the way to now county government, this county has received a minimum of 40 billion shillings. Isn't that a revolution? Are we waiting for wailings and cries and people with wings to fly so that we can say we are living through a revolution? Are we waiting to topple the national government and carry machetes going after the head of your governor to say we are in a revolution? I am persuaded not. And I'm persuaded that if we can wake up through this revolution that is happening in our time as young people, we will transform our people, we will transform our tribes, we will transform our counties, and ultimately transform our beloved country of nations, the Republic of Kenya. This is our time. This is our time. And I have heard you say, we must interact. To interact is a sacrifice because you accept you are lesser than the other and you admit you are ignorant to seek knowledge. To interact is not simply to ask for the number of the lady you wanted to cheat or to ask for the number of the man you want to WhatsApp. That is interaction at the base level, which can be done by animals in the bush during mating season. But we must rise above it because in us we carry a rare gem of brain, and the human brain develops and it expands through reading, through exposure to knowledge, and through interaction to our elders. We gain the hindsight of what we never knew, and we project the foresight of what we want to be. Yet, we must be willing to be carried in the shoulders of our elders and seniors. So I'm very grateful. This was to say thank you to you for this one. And never stop meeting here. Never outgrow this unity even when you grow. It is an explosive, a dynamite that can produce the power, the locomotion of developmental societies that we seek to develop in Kenya. So ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to speak much because I want to be speaking in the next 20 minutes and go and do other things. But I want to answer the question that you asked me here. and then I will speak on sleeping through revolution, 10 minutes, I'll leave you here. Thank you, Governor, for bringing to attention the 4 questions here. The first question that he asked me is to address why we continue to train our engineers, yet we continue to dispense opportunities to aliens. I have read a story written by Ken Saro-Wiwa called Africa Kills Hassan. That he went to a gravesite and his son, whom he had gone to commemorate after being killed in the war, was the best. That Africa sacrifices her sons and daughters to fight the war that does not concern them, to help the colonial master to murder and annihilate populations across the world. Yet we give the best sons to go and die for a political agenda that does not fit them, as their mothers, their parents continue to wallow in poverty and to shrink in diseases. We give our sons to fight for the white man. Then we are proud to fly them and bury them in the soil they have not improved. Africa kills her son. And that's why it is called the Dark Continent. Our sons are you people. We continue to train you in the universities. We continue to put skills in the vocational training centers. We continue to put in you tangible courses through technical training institutes. Yet, when jobs are put up there, we give them to foreigners. Who is a fool? Who is an idiot? These are the questions that we must ponder as we get bequeathed by the governor and his generation of the county and the country. We must ponder difficult questions so that we do not inherit the malady that we don't need ahead of us. The first way is the way of unity. The first route is the route of dialogue. And the only way ahead is a way of speaking and acting in the best interest of not the self but the other. I have heard you are doing philanthropy. That is what Mother Teresa of Calcutta did all her life. She was poor, but they say no man is too rich to receive and no man is too poor to give. As Musa, the fact that you give yourself to the community, you organize your resources that are not there to give our children sandals and towels, tells me you have known the problem that bedevils your people. And you are willing to confront it despite all the circumstances, odds working against you. That is why you attract the attention of men like Governor, CECs, your heroes, Akamba hero people like the former, the ghost play, the coach. Coach are never former. A coach remains a coach forever, like a Rastaman. You can feel the vibe in this room. You can feel the energy. You can feel the hope. You can feel that the generational burden bequeathed over us by our fathers, we are ready to take it for the next 30, 40 years. One generation lasts between 25 to 30 years. All of you here will be less than 50 in 30 years. Yes. If you are 20s, you'll be less than 60. Less you'll be 50s. Yeah. A 50-year-old is a young person. Very young person. Especially if they are gentlemen. Do you understand me? Do you understand the hidden knowledge behind my statement? Niseme na Kikamba ama nisiseme? Wacha nisiseme, msiende kusema na CAS kuna joto sana. Otherwise, I would have said the wisdom of men here. So, Kenya Ministry of Education has strengthened Kenya Registration Board for technical and artisan, technical trained people and artisan, to ensure that we register you, and we have gone ahead to fight with the Public Service Commission so that when jobs are being advertised, we do not put the caveat that you must have registration by only Kenya Engineers Board. So even technical people will have their own registration and equal chance to give when county jobs, when national jobs on roads, construction, infrastructure, everything is put for you. It is a battle that we have been trying to fight. And where I'm sitting, carrying the burden for you, I know how frustrating it is today, Governor, to join Kenya Engineers Board. Is it called Kenya Engineers Board?
It's called
EBK.
EBK, sir. EBK,
yes,
sir.
Thank you, engineer. Yes. You must be an engineer, isn't it?
Of course I am, sir. I am.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Awesome.
These are the doctors for machines. So, engineer registration or engineer board of Kenya. Engineers Board of Kenya, isn't it?
Yeah. EBK, Engineers Board of Kenya.
Yes.
From there now we go high EK.
Okay. That's it. It is very difficult, Governor, to join that. As an engineer, a young person, you don't get it. Actually, it is a coalition of malicious forces who have closed the door that nobody can be registered. Because to get a job worth 100 million and above, you have to go for their stamp. A stamp alone asking you for 3% of that money or 4%. Yet, the old man has just put a miserable wood and ink on your papers. Just like that. These are the things we must fight. Our fathers fought for, our forebears fought for freedom. Our fathers fought for infrastructure of the country, the economic freedom. Our forebears fought for political freedom. Our fathers fought for economic and economic emancipation. We, their sons and daughters, must fight for a cause. Which cause we must identify and run with it. The governor mentioned fourth industrial revolution. The first is long gone, the steam. The second is long gone, the industry. The third is long gone, the computer. Now, the information industry, which is the fourth industrial, the AI, artificial intelligence. We are not even down an inch of the iceberg. Are we ready for it? These are the questions that we ponder. So your question, engineer, is being handled at technical level, and I know the Ministry of Roads have now demarcated that 40% of every contract given to foreigners must go to locals. But what they have done, these people from the East have continued to delegate the cheap and the hard work of every contract to the black man, and very cheaply. Yet they are doing the simple and the most important job for the most of the money. For instance, if you are building a road, 150 million, they will give you 40% of the work that controls 36 million. Then they will eat 124. Yet they will just put Lami. Because they want you out of the job. So I discussed that with the CS, and he's aware about it. And we're going to ensure that the unholy alliance between some state bureaucrats and mandarins that coalesce with this, I will call them economic saboteurs, are stopped at the earliest time possible. Perhaps when we become, perhaps when one of you becomes the president and the prime minister. have been on record in the TV and on radio and on public gatherings and in my social media saying that an increase from 16,000 shillings to 17,000 shillings of the university fee is a death sentence to millions of families in Kenya. And I have said, only a fool does not refer to their past. I left university in 2014, December. And I remember the 4 years would not have been possible had I been asked to pay 20,000 as the annual university fee. My mother became poor and bankrupt when I was in Form 3. And she never paid a coin after that. I had to do what I had to do. Sometimes dark, sometimes light. To get to finish all the way to the university. And I cannot have passed through the pain only to witness my generation being punished by senseless and moneyed old cats. So I want to assure you before His Excellency the Governor and the national government officials here, there shall not be an increase of a shilling to the university. And I want to say, if they are going to do it behind my back, because sometimes as a CAS I do not have the signature and I do not have the sanctioning power. If they were to do it in my hindsight, it will be the broken news of the government joining the protester. Because I will go to the street and join the protestants. I hope you will come to the street. Oh, mnapenda hiyo sana. Mnapenda hiyo. Because they used to say it is either our way or the highway. It's either our way or the highway. Yes, that's what we used to say when we were young and foolish. Now, the other question that the governor posed to me is whether the youth function can be, rather the youth funds, because the youth function is, let me understand. Since the youth is a national function, can the youth funds be devolved to counties? Rather, I would say the youth affairs is a county affair, but funds have still stuck in the national level. Is that true? Yes. So the question the governor is asking for you, and you had posed that before, is whether we can devolve this. Let me answer with utmost respect and say it should be, although it is not. And because we know it is not, yet it should be, we know where we are and we know where we want to go. What do we do in the middle? We build the bridges. Is that so? We agree that we can know the route and path. Whether that will be through constitutional amendments, whether that will be through administrative actions, whether that is through acts of parliament amendment within parliament. All that is possible should be done to ensure that we devolve that money. As he said, if every county would get 1 billion shillings, you can imagine the revolution we are talking about and how much we could do with the organization of Musa and the rest. I think we agreed on the third question as a matter of policy in government that it is no longer going to be a requirement to hold you to providing help clearance certificate when you are looking for a job. I think we agreed that if you are interviewed, you are called for an interview, nobody should ask you to produce a help clearance certificate as a precondition for interview, because that is prejudicial and it is anti-progressive. So, Governor, this is already solved, and I have always said, if anybody asks you for this, or becomes the cause why you are not paid, you are not employed, please run to us. Run. That's why we are there. We will disband the whole interview and the results thereof. for you to get fair chance. But this is to tell you, the reason why I used to get 55,000 shillings per month, and I'm still paying. If you get money, the moral hindsight behind it is that you will pay so that the child who has no money can get the money. The moral argument cannot be compromised. That we got this help and got where we are courtesy of it. So if you are in a position to pay, don't even make an argument. Pay for the other child to access education. And if you cannot think of anybody who deserves it, think about your tribesmen who deserve help. The poor tribesmen you left in the village, think about their sons and daughters and how much difference this money that you're paying will make. So it is a social insurance against the poor accessing education. So nawarai kwa jina la elimu mulipe ukipata nafasi ya kulipa. Lakini kama huna nafasi ya kulipa, tumesimamisha ukiritiba unaofanywa na serikali na some organs of government like HELB and Credit Bureau to stop victimizing you. Tuko pale kwa sababu yenu. As the governor rightly put it, the young, they say the old are wise because the young has not seen what they have seen. But also the young are wise because they don't see even when they are falling into trouble. They still go ahead. The energy. And that is what we want to harness. With the wisdom of the men, the elders, and with the energy of the young, we can cross the stormy sea of life. I have answered all the questions because I thought it would be important coming from the governor and having missed the morning session for me to answer this question. So ladies and gentlemen, I'll be speaking now 5 minutes and then I will leave. Sleeping through a revolution, as I've told you, is a speech which was a sermon inspired by the difficult times the Negro were undergoing under the government of Lyndon Johnson, Nixon, and the other one who was there for, I forgot the president's name, Roosevelt and Ted. Abraham Lincoln signed Emancipation Declaration that essentially ended slavery. But the white man continued as a slave owner to own large tracts of land. So you give the freedom to the slave, but you don't give them the property rights to improve on the land. So now, the new slavery is the slavery of self. You want to be slave by your own because you must eat. So you must become the worker of your former slave owner. But this time, it is on your own contract and terms. So you give them freedom on one hand to delink them from the chains, yet all over they are in chains because they have no means of growing. They lived through difficult times. There came men who preached that the end justifies the means, like Malcolm X. But there came a man who said, the means must be as good as the end that you seek. And therefore, violence is not the solution. All through 1923, the times of Great Depression, all the way to the Civil Rights Movement, until when the first black man ruled America, there has been generational growth and development of the underprivileged. Yet, men and women continue to sleep through the revolution. Small gains achieved by sweat and blood and death that we enjoy so effortlessly continued to be seen and heard and experienced by young men and women who never wanted anything to do with it. In essence, we want food, but we don't want to see the fire. You want a shade, but you want to plant a tree. quick fixing. We live in a time when so much has been achieved. The governor was in the streets in the 90s with his colleagues, preaching about second liberation. Because we achieved the first liberation, we threw out the white men. But then a whiter man in black skin took and curtailed the freedoms, as he mentioned them, the man they wanted to get off, and amended the constitution and fought for it until when he was an advisor to the president and delivered a new constitution. They have fought their war. They walked through revolution awake and delivered it. One of his greatest legacies should be, and it would be right, delivering the second constitution in a Kenyan soil, not in Lancaster House in Manchester, but in the Kenyan soil. Was that Bomas of Kenya? Is that where discussions were happening? Yeah, so instead of Lancaster House conference, that was Bomas of Kenya conference constitution of 2010. Now they give us a document, which we can see it has revolutionized the society. That we have devolved units, we have devolved power, we have devolved resources, we have devolved manpower, but still teething problems remain. They will retire and leave it to you. Are you in a position to take over? Are you aware of the problems facing the country? You may not, but are you aware of the problems facing your county? You may not, but are you aware of the problems facing your siblings, your parents, your in-laws, your community, and your clan? If you cannot see them at that basic unit, don't expect to see them in the national or county level unless you are a pirate. A man who makes noise for no cause. I am trying to inspire by my imagination a generation that can identify a problem, sleep over it, execute the means to deliver the solution. So that, just like a mole, too much happens under, yet there is noise, no noise. There are two kinds of animals that you should never fail to study. The first one is a squirrel, and the second one is a mole. Both are lethal. But the mole executes his plans and strategies under the soil, attracting no noise. But when the taproot is cut, the tree and the plant is dry. But the squirrel will make all the noise possible, distracting the farmer from planting seeds by standing to ask the farmer, who are you? But never leave to see the sunset. Almost all the squirrels during planting time are killed the same day they are identified. But all the moles will never get killed until the mission is done. When you know your things are dry, you know there is something underground. Become the mole. Change your family. Change your people. Change the welfare of a Kamba nation. See them from the point of objective perspective and seek to elevate them. Seek to enlighten them and seek to work with them. Then change your country. Walk with your president. Walk with your leaders. Critique the national policies with a set of answers besides them. Provide answers in the means that you are exposed to today. Because, truth be told, you are more exposed than your fathers were. Today you can write in your phone a message that will capture the attention of the head of state, and you may never know. We have many means of fighting today. Our arsenal is more lethal than the times of our fathers, yet we sleep through it. The best you see some few young people doing is to think that the one with the most vitriol is the one that insulted the governor, is the one that insulted the senator, is the one that insulted the MP, is the one that insulted the CC, is the one that insulted the president. Yet, that is not the energy that changes. That is the energy that destroys. Both are energies. When Niccolo Machiavelli was writing a letter to his son in the history of Florence, he told him, my son, and perhaps this is what I will end with, my son, in my time, the most popular and the famous young man was the one who would dress smartly, the one who would drink stew, the one who would hold the spear to entertain women and sleep with as many. That was the most popular young man. Don't be like that man. Be your own man. I want to leave you with an assignment. And this assignment is in your hands. So just take your phone and you will see the answer to the assignment and keep it to yourself. This was a commencement address delivered by the greatest 20th century tech giant, the founder of Apple Company, Steve Jobs. In his Stanford University commencement address, he spoke about 3 things in a speech titled, Stay Foolish, Stay Hungry. Stay foolish, stay hungry. Write that one so that you don't forget. Go and read it. Stay hungry and stay foolish. The 3 things he talked about is learn to connect the dots. From the day you are in primary school, to the day you are in secondary school, to the moment you are in the university or went to the university, to the moment your country changes hands in executive power, to the day you rule yourself and manage your resources, connect the dots. If you connect the dots, you will see that you are lucky because no one is like you. Perhaps even your brother did not get the route you followed. Somehow, they stumbled the way and wobbled. Connect the dot while you are here and look back, because life can only be understood in retrospect, although it must be lived forward. The second thing he said was love of life. If you manage to know what you want early enough and love it, they say you will never need to work a day. If you identify what you want to do and you give your love to it, you will never work a day in your life because you are living naturally. A fish would live in water, whereas a monkey would change trees. Because it's your best thing you want to do. So you're not forced, you are not deadlined, you are not coerced, you are not encouraged to do it. You are doing it naturally. Learn what to do early enough in life. And thank you, management, once again. Because out of this, something will come out. Don't sleep through revolution as things happen. There's a cause and a reason why you are in this Musa. Now, all Makueni students in the university or elites are not here. Others are busy chasing other fantasies. But you are here for a purpose. It is not accidental. And the last thing he said, as I complete, is death. Make peace with death. Because it is a sure destination. And if you make peace with death, something will happen. And what thing is this? You will live every day as if you are dying tomorrow. And therefore, you will work so good that Picasso the painter will never match your painting. You will give your best to the society so much that Mother Teresa of Calcutta will never match you. Or you will sweep so well that the best of sweeper who live before you would never identify a grain of dust where you sleep. You sweep. Sleep not through a revolution. Because Ecclesiastes number 9 verse 11. I hope Christians can forgive me if I make a mistake. It says that the battle does not belong to a strong, neither does the food come to the wise. The skilled ones are not necessarily the favored. Neither is battles won by the strong. But time and chance happens to them. I wish you the very best. May you grow. May you rise. May you change societies. And may you live your best and most potential days of your life. If you start a family, become its leader. If you already have one, guide it. When all is said and done, nothing is more important than the family. Power is illusionary. Wealth is deceitful. But family is life. Love it and change it. Because Mother said again, Teresa, if you want to change the world, go home and love your family. Bogi Jege, Bogi Genje would say, when I was young, I wanted to change the world. But now that I'm old, I cannot change even the TV station. Thank you very much.